I mean, XCOM's one. We can do lots of like strategy games like that. We can always do Uno.
Oh yeah, we need to knock out an Uno at some point too.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like a like a versus kind of series where like Walsh is like, hey, first one to like beat this portion of XCOM, or like first person to be fully sustainable in Project Zomboid, crap like that.
Yeah. Who can get the farthest and enter the gungeon, or Dead Cells, or a roguelike.
Yeah, like in 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was, I had an idea and I was like, that would take way too fucking.
Yeah, well,
Some
but
of
that's
the
just
new
like
mods for
the
Empire at War. Be like, all right, we'll put it on the hardest difficulty and see who gets to the furthest day before being completely wiped out of the galaxy.
Yeah. Or
oh
we
yeah.
could
Hold on, I gotta unwind these real quick.
we can
Oh no, they're
race.
But
twisted.
keep talking, obviously.
Yeah, he can't hear us. So I'm gonna say we could race in like
I can hear y'all laughing.
Euro Truck Simulator or something like that.
Oh my god, Generation Farming Simulator.
Dude, competitive farming simulator. Let's go.
But yeah,
Let's go.
but we should totally do like a competitive thing, and then like, because I'm not gonna lie to you boys, peek behind the curtains for us. I'm looking at maybe either designing a belt or like little thing to go over top of us, like over the winter, like for other recordings and stuff. Or I'm going to try and get a physical one at some point that we can then ship around to the different houses for whoever is holding the belt.
I mean, I do have a company FedEx account, so that's not bad for me.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. There's actually some decent people online that make custom belts. We're pretty fucking reasonable on top of it too.
Yeah, depending on what you're looking for. They like the metal ones are beautiful. We're not there yet, but I'm thinking maybe like a plastic one, like with the plastic over top, like fake metal, fake leather.
I bought a metal one for the shop years ago. It was only like $50.
The ones that I found that were metal were in like the 300 range.
I mean, that's if you really want to get it like done up and get it like engraved and like do all that stuff. But if we just get like a basic one for now, like it can evolve over time.
True. Where we each add something to it each time.
Yeah. Oh god, dude, this could be like a fantasy football league where it's just gonna get overblown so quickly.
But I think it would be fun, and I think it might draw some eyes on us.
I think it'd be fun. Why the hell not? And speaking of belts, let's jump into the podcast. Because
let's do this.
There was some belt activity last night, in a different variety of ways.
I would agree.
One thing has four.
Mm-hmm.
So that's too many belts.
Yeah, let's jump into it. Welcome everybody. It's Nightoff Podcast. We're doing our reactions to WrestleMania Night 1 because we haven't watched Night 2 yet. It's the day of WrestleMania Day 2.
Yeah, if either of you had watched Night 2, I'd be fucking surprised.
I know.
I did.
You did?
I did.
Yeah. So everybody at home has already seen the stuff that we can't talk about yet, which puts us in a weird position. But there's something else I want to get into before we get into any WrestleMania talk, because I was reading it this morning after a very long day of watching WrestleMania coverage. The Bucks, Tony Khan, AEW have announced they're going to show the footage of CM Punk and Jack Perry's confrontation backstage on Wednesday, live on TV. There's reports already from Sean Ross Sapp, from Meltzer, from Brian Alvarez saying it's not a troll, it's not a joke, it's legit.
That's awesome.
This is buck wild. I didn't expect this to happen at this stage, by any
That was a good
means
pun.
whatsoever.
That was a good pun. That was a really good pun.
Yeah,
I don't know if you caught that, audience. That was a good pun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That was right off the top of the dome.
That was nice. I was gonna say, there's no way you pre-thought that.
No,
That just came out.
Fuck no. That would be giving me way too much credit. You think I planned this ahead? Come on. Come
I mean, there's some planning. There's some planning.
Very little planning.
There's outlines.
Yeah. I'm flabbergasted at this decision. I've been racking my brain all morning on why this is happening. I see there's like a couple different avenues of why this could be happening, but I want to get your guys' initial reactions first.
This is wrestling, baby.
Yeah.
Like, not all wrestling is in the ring. And not all wrestling, as we've talked about, 2 months ago with the presser for WrestleMania, not all wrestling has to always be coinciding with stories and stuff necessarily. Because this doesn't. It's its own thing. I think the biggest reason, in my opinion, as to why they're going to release this is because Punk brought this up recently.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that Punk's version, which, don't get me wrong, audience, I think everything Punk has been doing for the past week in talking about things is all kayfabe, whether it be a presser interview, MMA hour interview, doesn't matter. It's all kayfabe. It's all about pushing wrestling forward more, whether or not any of it be true or not. But I feel like they want to set the record straight. Tony does. So,
I mean,
yeah. It sounds like it's, three sides to every story. There's, CM Punk's side, their side, and then what really happened. And might just be publicity of, hey, here's the footage to decide for your.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, like, there's so many different ways this can play out. Number one, obviously, it's wrestling. It could all be a fucking work at the end of the day. That's always a possibility. It could always be something where, okay, the Bucks recorded something silly backstage and they're gonna show that on TV. Like they set up like a dramatic reenactment of something completely unrelated but happened, in storyline. That's a possibility. That could happen.
I can see that. I can see that.
That would be amazing.
I know. I would be.
They should switch it up and do that.
Yeah, I'd be for that. That'd be hilarious. But we got CM Punk's version of events during the MMA hour with Ariel Helwani, which apparently is how you have to announce it. That's the official title of the show, because I heard that a lot on fucking Raw and SmackDown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, here, the funny thing is, Punk came out there and said, "Look, I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit." Okay, that's one thing. I think it's like he's downplaying that he still assaulted somebody. Okay,
yeah, it's just a little light choking. It's just a little smidge of choking.
Just a little bit of choking.
Like it falls under the same law, but let's get it straight.
Yeah,
it was just a little.
Yeah. So like we know. Okay, at the bare minimum, something along those lines happened. And what could be, I think, is hilarious is I saw a take on Twitter, now known as X, whatever you want to call it, where it was a hilarious take that, okay, yeah, Punk put like Jack in like a sleeper hold, and he probably slipped out of it immediately and just like, put a fucking like actual submission hold on him, like, harkening back to his unfortunate UFC career, which would probably damage his ego to no end.
Yep.
I will make no. I'm not gonna try and hide it. I'm a CM Punk mark. I will be to the day I die. He's a very conflicting individual, but he always makes wrestling interesting, unfortunately.
Yeah, everything he does, it always seems to be, regardless of whether it be good or bad, it's all in the furtherance of wrestling.
Yeah.
All in the furtherance of kayfabe. I like him or hate him, man. Because I love him. I'm also a CM Punk mark. Like, have been for years, but I accept the problems that come with CM Punk.
Yeah. He is a
Because
problematic individual.
yes, because you better expect if you tell him something in real life that there's a chance it could end up in a promo.
Yeah.
So
At the very least, it can end up in a promo. I was talking about this, minutes ago before we, started getting online and talking about it with my girlfriend, and she was kind of being like, "Does he have a mental problem and like a condition?" And I honestly, I don't know. The dude could benefit from therapy at the very least, is what I told her.
mhm.
I know a little bit about his history, his upbringing, and I'm in no position to diagnose the man, obviously. But at the bare minimum, the dude could do with some talking to a professional. At the end of the day, it benefits everyone, in my opinion.
I mean, this all could just be a character that he just has decided to forever live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everybody should see a therapist, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna get the real deal on Wednesday, and I think it's gonna contradict Punk, but I think everybody's gonna be contradicted. But when it comes out, it more so the blast is gonna be towards Punk.
It's entirely possible, but here's the problem I'm seeing with releasing this footage and putting it on TV of all places. Like, I don't see how this really benefits anybody at AEW. At the end of the day, it feels almost petty.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, this is wrestling. This is carny motherfuckers, and if they are anything, they are petty people at the end of the day, usually. So
Tony's a petty guy.
he
so.
is.
It sounds like there's a lot of shady shit and people hold on to grudges.
Yeah. That's kind of the business. That's the way it's always been. It's just very unusual given the kind of environment that AEW was presenting just last week, last Wednesday, sending Adam Copeland out there to do like a feel good, hey everybody, let's just enjoy wrestling promo to open up Dynamite last week.
It was a great promo. It literally cut through Punk's words from Monday, and Adam just has a way of instilling like a feel good kind of vibe.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to throw out a pipe bomb.
no,
Like I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, when you look at the two and what he was trying to do, I think he succeeded. I think Adam was able to. Kitty.
Yeah.
I think Adam was able to cut through the noise and just make people feel good about wrestling, which is what we need. At the end of the day, AEW is a different beast than WWE, especially without Punk right now.
I mean, that much is fairly obvious. The Copeland promo was giving me shades of Moxley when he first came back from rehab, and he delivered that in-ring promo. I mean, he was a force of nature at that point in time where, like, I wanted to run through a fucking wall for Moxley. Like, he's got that ability to just make you believe in so much of what an individual person can do and how they can turn themselves around,
Oh yeah. That was a great storyline. The especially with the Eddie Kingston stuff too with Moxley. I love a lot of the storylines that come out of AEW, especially during that time, man.
Yeah.
There was some good stories coming out.
Speaking of stories, during the pre-show, I loved the very little bit of shade that Punk was throwing left and right against his history, talking about, oh, he wouldn't know anything about being sued, um, per- showing off his ignorance of the Rocky movies once again.
Yep.
Once again, burying that whole storyline with Moxley and just being a petty bitch once again. I kind of love it, but it's so ridiculous. I mean, you're grown men, but he can't help himself, you know?
He literally can't. He
No.
can't go a minute with there's a mic in his hand, man.
Dude,
He's gonna be shooting shit.
this morning at the Slammy Awards, he was asking The Miz if he was gonna get a tattoo of the attendance record for WrestleMania Night 1.
I would love that. Which,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, man. For a night one of 2 nights, that was pretty dang good.
Yeah, I mean, let's finally get into what we are here for, and let's talk some WrestleMania 40. Right off the bat, I think we had a great start. I mean, you got Becky, you got Rhea kicking it off.
Mhm.
I gotta say, I think Derek's gonna have to throw the photo up here of what Becky's outfit reminded you of.
Come on. Okay. The only difference is that instead of like the word Marlboro, it should have been like a picture from the side showing the Surgeon General's warning.
Yeah,
Because that was the wording basically on her stomach.
yeah, from her book, New York Times bestseller already. Good for her.
Yeah, girlfriend is reading it right now. Christina's going through it, and she's loving it so far. She's on the 4th or 5th chapter, I think, as of today.
Yeah,
She's been sick for a few days, so she's been reading it on and off. But yeah, she's loving it so far. She says it's a great book. Definitely pick it up. She's a little different. She likes to read a book while also listening to the audiobook.
that's not the first I've heard of somebody doing that. I don't know if I have the mental capacity to segment my brain to process both at the same time, but for
Nope.
people that can, good on you.
Derek Dum Dum. Derek can't do that.
It reminds me of when you trade paragraphs as who's reading in class and everyone follow along.
What do you call that? Popcorn or something like that? Something like
Something.
Every teacher called it something different.
Yeah.
I hated it because I always read faster, so I would just read ahead.
Yeah. And then you'd be lost when you got to your turn to read. Yeah, I did the same.
And I'd be like, wait, what page are we on?
Wait, what? Sorry. What?
And then
what
you
is
get
Johnny
yelled at
Tremaine
like
up
you're
to?
not right. They're like, hey, we're reading. You're reading the part about Holden Caulfield. Come on.
Oh God, fuck that book. Looks terrible.
Oh man. Well, at least I didn't bring up the wizarding one, because we were made to read that in 7th grade.
That was strange. But then again, that was like a whole movement. That was different back then. She didn't reveal herself to be a monster at that point in time.
I was gonna say that movement became a different kind of movement after a while.
Yeah, bowel movement. Bam.
For real.
But
Damn, that was good.
Yeah.
Damn, that was good.
Yeah, end of the match though. Rhea pulls out the W. She retains.
Mhm.
Gotta say, pretty damn good match. Excellent choice to open the show, I think.
Becky had 102 fever, either the day prior or right before going out there. I don't remember which, but either way, recovering from being sick still, and still put on a dang good show. So
Yeah, they said it was real cold out there too.
Yeah,
it was
how
like
many
40,
times did
45.
fucking Michael Cole talk about how cold it was all goddamn night? He's not. He was
It's cold too.
It's cold.
Okay.
It's chilly Philly. Did you hear that?
I do have a complaint, actually. I do have a complaint, and I will bring up my other part of this complaint, but I want to bring up the first part now.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cole bitched the whole time.
Yeah.
From beginning until end, Michael Cole always had to sneak in some sort of bitching moment for himself, of bitching either about the weather,
Yeah.
about the wind,
Yeah.
about something. He just kept bitching. And not only that, anytime there was like anything less than perfection in someone's move, he called it out.
Yeah. He was in rare form. I think by the end of the night though, he had loosened up a decent amount, and him and Pat were just having a blast out there. Even Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were a little bit on edge at the beginning of the night just because they were dealing with it seemed like there was some production issues throughout WrestleMania. Just like slight ones that if you were paying attention, some were glaring and some were just a little bit off. The production team was slightly off their game last night, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was almost like I was back there. Because like I'm an amateur at editing still, so and having to try and do a live show is even crazier. But there was stuff that I noticed that I don't think I don't think I would have made the same mistakes. Like there was quite a few that stuck out to me that pulled me out of the show.
I mean, one that pulled me out is the next match. It was during the 6-pack ladder match or whatever, where they were playing the wrong entrance music for the wrong, groups, the wrong tag teams. It was. I haven't seen that. I've seen that they screw up occasionally. It happens. People are human. Whatever.
Yeah,
It's
a live show.
Yeah, I didn't expect it from WWE at WrestleMania. They're usually like, on top of their game and like hitting everything right, but it was strange for me.
Maybe that's one of the surprises Triple H was talking about.
We're making mistakes normal again.
Yeah. I mean, that if they are,
we're making the right kind of mistake. Technical mistake.
Yeah, those are
legal mistake.
Well,
look,
I this is something I did want to bring up, but I'll try not to right now. So
let's go into it. We're not holding anything back, dude. Like we've got to get through this, and then we've got to watch WrestleMania, night 2.
Okay, so Janelle Grant's letter, more has come out about it, and it does seem to show, at least the allegation is that Paul Levesque, Triple H, also knew about this. Which, don't get me wrong, being married to Stephanie, I would assume he would know something.
Mm-hmm.
I find it weird though that with this coming out, that him and his wife decided to not only show themselves at Hall of Fame, but be shown off at Hall of Fame to some degree. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I love Paul Heyman. I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
Damn straight.
I knew he was going to bring up Brock's name. I figured he was gonna. We all kind of figured he was going to do it. I did not expect Stephanie though, and Paul after this letter came out. It kind of offended me.
Honestly, there's something strange to that because I mean, Brock was brought up last night during the press conference post show, and like Triple H is like, "Look, Brock's not here; he's at home." But like he's being Brock, yeah. So something strange that we don't know is happening with Brock's situation. I get the my personal like tinfoil hat thing is they're just gonna keep Brock away. They're gonna acknowledge he exists. They're not gonna like sweep him under the rug like a Chris Benoit situation, but they're also not gonna like bring him back and put him in the spotlight. They're just going to like not pretend he didn't exist. I'm assuming he's not under contract right now or anymore.
I think they said he was.
Well, I mean, they're like.
Well, they might be running it out at this
just
point,
like
if anything.
Like they're not going to cancel it.
Yeah.
Because then they'd have to pay him huge.
Oh, I'm sure he's still collecting incredible
money
from them.
But it's probably more money if they do a premature cancel. That he's able to collect. So they're just letting it run out. That's my guess. Like, don't get me wrong. The stuff against Brock Lesnar, it's all allegations still. So there's always the possibility at the end of the day that he was not involved in the way that we think he is. It's possible. Like, I'm not going to deny that.
No.
But
playing the
Stephanie's
game.
Yeah. So like, I wasn't really like hearing Brock's name by Paul Heyman did not surprise me in the least. I just figured he was going to do it because he spent so much of his career standing next to the guy. It was Stephanie being there that actually offended me more than anything else. With the allegations against her, with how this looks, with how she had knowledge and tried to destroy all this, I don't think it was smart to have her at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, there is a PR decision there forming why she was there. And like, she hasn't been on any media for how long?
for a while.
Her showing face there is, it's a bit jarring. It's surprising, but that leads me to believe that there is a defense that has been formed already as far as the legal aspect is concerned, as far as Triple H is concerned, as far as Stephanie is concerned, as far as Nick Khan is concerned. They've formulated something, especially considering like Laurinaitis, he waived his right to be subpoenaed. He's like, you don't need to do it. I'm going to cooperate and we're going to move forward. So it seems like Vince is going to bear the brunt of the defense and everybody else is just like along for the ride at this point.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. With if it's true about her, I feel like it's one of those like if Paul's going to be out there because he had some knowledge, let her just go sit behind the scenes off camera.
It's a viable aspect. At the other end of the road here, there's something to be said about formulating a proper defense that is built around not necessarily willful ignorance, but a proposed ignorance of they had knowledge, they didn't know what extent. So there's something to be said about having plausible deniability. Like, we know that they are not going to deny knowledge of the existence of Miss Grant, but they are probably going to deny any knowledge of any crimes against her.
Oh yeah.
That's obvious.
I think at the end of the day, Vince is the full fall guy. Regardless, I'm not saying he didn't do any of this stuff. Like I feel my personal opinion, he did all these things and probably more. Because like I've said before, there's a pattern to this. There's no way that this was his first time treating someone like this.
Yeah.
So
I'll be honest,
but
the court of opinion is very strange right now. There are still people who deny everything tooth and nail. It's another one of those things where there's just a very toxic divide. It's a very small number of people though that I've seen that have actually attempted to defend Vince.
Well, because many of the previous defenders in the early days have kind of retracted or at least stopped defending outright.
Yeah.
Because they know that there's probably at least a kernel of truth to some of this.
Yeah. But we'll see. It's gonna be a long process.
But like to tie it back to WrestleMania though, when Triple H came out, at that point I was so soured from the Hall of Fame, man, that it was just like I'd rather see someone else come out and introduce WrestleMania at this point.
At this point, I don't think they have an option to have anybody else, though. That's kind of the thought, At the end of the day, he is kind of the face of the brand at this point from a corporate sense. Nick Khan hasn't spent a lot of time in front of the cameras at any point in this. You still have, like, Ariel Emanuel, but he's more on the TKO side. Triple H is someone who is familiar to people in WWE inside and out. He's familiar to the fans. He's familiar to the people that report on it. He's familiar to the people backstage. He is the only person who can speak on any authority in a manner of speaking as far as what the corporate version of WWE is thinking and preparing for. And you don't have somebody else in that position at WWE that you can also put on camera.
True. That is true. Because like the only other person I could really think of is the Heartbreak Kid. And
yeah,
I don't see him going out there for that. So
no, especially considering like as far as like the public is concerned, like his main focus is NXT. He's not like overseeing the entire company's creative output.
Well, and I got to give him kudos too because I know we talked about it before, but even before all this stuff came to light, he was already promoting women's wrestling really hard in NXT. It came to the forefront in people's minds after all the stuff came out, noticing that he did, but he was doing this long before then.
Yeah.
Women's wrestling matters to him, and you can see it.
really, I think the whole process of him becoming like a dad caused him to not only see how important it was, but kind of bear the weight on his shoulders of like, I have to be the person to do this.
Well, he held the belt once and changed the face of wrestling. He's just doing it again. So, but yeah. Otherwise, though, I just would have liked someone else for introducing. I don't know. That's my own personal thing.
Yeah.
Like, it just soured me to it watching the Hall of Fame the night before and then seeing him again after seeing him and his wife together. So,
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, you're right as far as it being okay, probably not the best time, but the logical part of my brain that has to kind of exist in order for me to process these carny fucks doing what they do tells me that they feel safe in doing that, you know?
yeah. Oh, true. No, I agree with you completely on that. Because they must have something if they're willing to go on camera like that, or for her, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But at the end of the day, it did not ruin WrestleMania for me.
No.
It was quickly forgotten about with the Becky and Rhea match. I honestly, if I have to give it a rating, I'm going to say 4 to 4.5 star, despite the issues with Becky being sick.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was still a great match overall. And honestly, Becky sold a lot of her stuff really well, a lot better than the previous weeks leading up to this. So kudos.
Yeah, she showed up and she showed out for WrestleMania. Like, I want to give her like all the credit in the world for that because it's got to be difficult, going out there being sick and what was it, Cole? 52 degrees, but it feels like it's 47 and their wind is 15 miles an hour. Like, oh, yeah, I've heard that way too many times. I'm sorry. But no.
But every time he was asked, though, it dropped another like normal temperature degree. And then what it actually feels like dropped another like 3 to 4. And then the wind always raised up another couple of miles per hour. It was like, what the hell?
Let's be honest. Nobody asked. He just kind of brought it up and prompted repeatedly throughout the night.
Repeatedly.
But everyone who lives in Philly is like, yeah, no shit. Philly. Fucking April.
Yeah. What would you guys rate the match, though?
Oh, solid B+.
Walsh?
We'll go B.
It could be. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
nice.
good.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I was going to say
what would make it an A.
Yeah. I think
I would give it a solid 4 platypuses out of 5 lions.
Mm-hmm. Look, the thing that I couldn't get past was Rhea's entrance music being performed live.
That was cool.
Yeah, that those guys were a little bit like too early 2000s new metal.
Yeah.
For me.
That was meant for people like our age bracket.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I had a little bit of fun with it, but yeah, it was definitely new metal for sure. Like 2000s new metal.
Yeah.
100%.
I've kind of grown past that, so it was a little bit like a little cringe for me.
Yeah, I'm not looking for their single.
No. But
no.
It was nice for her because apparently she's a big fan.
Love the live music.
Yeah.
She was singing it word for word, like on cue, without having to watch them or anything. So she must know the words well enough to do that. So
I was amazed at how much the lead singer kind of looked like her. I thought they were going to say, "Oh yeah, no, that's her brother."
Actually,
her cousin Dwayne.
Well, and funny enough, it made me think too. Like, if she were to lose the belt and have to do like a break and then come back, she should do some war paint, man. Like full on war paint, because I think that would look good on her.
Oh yeah, their makeup looked great last night, didn't it?
Yeah, dude.
And credit to the makeup department at WWE. Like, it still held up on Rhea when she went to the press conference.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I will give the camera crew some props though, heavy props. When Rhea comes into the ring and she's standing there and she's smiling and she's looking up at the crowd and she raises the belt up, the camera crew hit it just right with the lighting and everything, man. It looked like a AI image almost with how like perfect the coloring and lighting was.
Was.
It could have been
real.
But no, it was a really well framed shot, and it was one of the best frame shots of the night, in my opinion.
But I think the next match was probably one of the more fun matches where we had the tag team ladder match. That was just some overbooked carnage. That was just fun. R-Truth killed it for me.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was nice at the end.
I love R-Truth, man. I love R-Truth.
It's stupid. It's silly, but he fucking pops me, man. He gets me.
He did all of the stuff he normally does. He got the tag in like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You're supposed to.
He was holding onto the rope. He was abiding by the rules.
Yep. He got a 3 count.
Yep.
He got a 3 count.
Yeah, he went for the pin.
And most of all, he overcame his fear of heights.
Yeah.
So
even a tribute to his childhood hero, John Cena in there. He got the 5 moves of doom and the 5 knuckle shuffle, the AA to Damian Priest on the outside.
Yep. He formed an alliance momentarily. He was able to negotiate. It was very diplomatic. He was like, no, we're all friends here. You guys get that belt, those belts there, and we're gonna get those belts there. And they're like, yeah, let's do that.
That was some smart booking. I thought that was a great little bit to put in there.
Dude, honestly, R-Truth is one of the best out there. He doesn't need to do all these super gimmicky, flashy things because the gimmick he has just fucking sells.
Yeah, he's a man out of time.
Seriously. But the double moonsault off the ladder by
no, that was oh yeah.
what's their faces?
God.
What was their names?
Double moonsault. That was New Catch Republic. That was
New Catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pete.
That was cool.
Pete Dune, as Pretty Deadly like to refer to him as. Yeah.
That was awesome. It was well timed. I don't think the camera crew did it right though. They didn't do it justice.
It's hard to catch that stuff in the moment. We all know it. There'll be replays from the other cameras that will be able to enjoy it a little bit better. Shout out to DIY and doing some buck wild shit. Johnny Gargano with that slingshot DDT to the outside through a table. Oh my god!
I freaking love them, dude. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. They should have won the other belts, not freaking Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. Yeah.
I see what they're building. They had to split up the belts. They had to do something where okay, they gave R-Truth and Miz belts. Let's give them to Grayson Waller and Austin Theory because look, I'll be honest, they're decent heels. They haven't found a way to really connect with the audience, particularly Theory. I feel bad for the dude. He's got all the talents. He's got everything you need to be a superstar. He just haven't figured out how to put the pieces in place yet, unfortunately.
Well, and it's funny too because you can tell he grew up with wrestling because of how well he mimics all the greats.
Yeah.
I always give him props for that because whether he's mimicking Orton, Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, it does not matter. The man's good at mimicking these guys. And unfortunately, it's like he has all the puzzle pieces, but instead of making the fish, he ended up making this like weird amalgam, like Picasso looking thing. And it's like, ooh, okay.
Puzzle pieces will fit if you get a tiny little hammer, just kind of tap it in place.
You got a good point there. But yeah, no, like 100%. He's got everything he needs. He just hasn't figured it out quite right yet.
And he has a look too. He has the look already. It's just not all
working yet.
He doesn't. It's not a quiche yet. He popped that already.
Mm-hmm. Also, shout out for JD McDonough taking that awesome table spot from the ladder, going through like 1.5 tables.
I'm not gonna lie, that looked like it fucking hurt.
Yeah, I think he tweeted sometime this morning with just like a bandaged up like emoji smiley, just saying, "Did we win?"
I love making fun of him.
Yeah.
But credit where credit is due, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But little Jimmy's not in fucking Judgment Day. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. I'm also gonna rag on production again a little bit here with the camera crew capturing just how gimmicked some of the ladders were. Like you could see
Oh,
the breaks, like so they were right up close where you're just seeing like the foam in it of where the
mm-hmm.
cuts are. I wish they like just a little bit higher up, boys, and just like get that out of frame. They held on it too long. I don't mind that they are making things safer by any means. I just don't want you to break the illusion for me.
Right, yeah.
Safer. I saw so many OSHA violations.
You're not supposed to stand on top of it.
Not supposed to stand on top of it, one person at a time.
You're on the wrong side of the ladder.
You need a spotter.
Oh, how about when Damien went up that ladder and he ended up having to replace?
Yeah.
Dude, I was so worried. I was like, uh-oh, this is like a three-legger. You can't, you need to get off this thing now.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
You can walk him across.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
But, man, did he help sell R-Truth, though, man. Like, you can tell those two must be really good friends in real life. Like,
dude, I don't know how anybody can hate R-Truth. He seems like he's just like the dude out there having the time of his life,
dude, seriously.
I feel like he's trying to make them break character. Like,
oh, yeah.
if I can get this guy to not be mad and laugh, I have won.
Oh, he's done it so many times with Damien. Dude. He's made Damien break character from what I've watched at least 10 times.
Yeah. Anytime you see Damien like dip down and like hide behind like Finn or Rhea, you know he is just cursing that he is trying so hard not to laugh. I love it.
When Truth came out, I don't remember, this was like a couple months ago, but when he came out and brought Damien money from all the merch he sold,
yeah,
and he just starts like this like slow smile, trying to not laugh because he's supposed to be mad at him still, and he can't help it because he's like a little kid.
Yeah. Or when he came out through the audience and put a shirt on top of Dominic while he's in the middle of a match and Dom is like restrained by his arms. Fuck, R-Truth is a national treasure from now until eternity. Honestly, they should have an award announced just for him.
He was I watched a little bit of this today, so we'll probably talk about this next week more, but just as like a little preview, I guess. I watched the Slammies a little bit with Christina before she left. And there's an R-Truth moment.
Oh yeah, no, he brought his own red carpet.
Yeah,
little red like doormat.
And we get an my bad.
My bad. That's on me.
That's on me.
Yeah. Okay, let's barrel through here. We still got tons more matches to talk about.
Yeah.
We got Rey Mysterio and Andrade going against Santos Escobar and Dominic. Look, it's
honestly
not bad, right? Andrade.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, up until the end when. All right, here's my take on it. Yeah. All right, good match. Everyone's doing great, and then two guys with Mysterio masks come out and help them win, and then the big reveal, they pull the masks off. I'm still like, who the fuck are these guys?
I almost spit my coffee out. Because I knew exactly what you were going to bring up.
Okay. Well, that was Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, former Philadelphia Eagles players. That's all. That's it. The local
superstars in their own right.
Yeah, local heroes, legends. Okay, that's it.
So Ray does this type of stuff all the time now, basically being a legend. Whether it be bringing people out like that, repping their colors for their team for the area. It's kind of his shtick, and it's on brand. It still felt weird.
Yeah,
it did still feel weird.
Yeah, like there was no I heard rumors that Jason Kelsey was gonna be there. I didn't know what capacity, so it's to be expected. But at the same time, like they could have foreshadowed it a little bit more. so it wasn't so jarring. But at the same time, it's wrestling. It's fun. It's stupid. It's WrestleMania, for fuck's sake. This is the kind of shtick they do.
It was even more jarring that they came out in luchador masks,
Yeah.
fully clothed,
Yeah.
left the ring, no luchador masks, no shirts on,
Yeah.
doing the weird jump off of the ring where they do the squat thing first. Dude,
Yeah.
it was just it was like seeing a little kid jump off of the side of a playground thing real quick, like the first time.
It was like watching
Don't
my
use the
bard
stairs.
in Baldur's Gate 3
Oh, God.
getting down.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yes.
what it was.
Editing, Derek. Cut that in.
Yeah, I will try and remember to cut that in. That is beautiful. Yes, because that's actually pretty on point. But overall, though, good match.
Yeah.
Andrade, man, he kills it, man. He kills it. That dragon spin he does is amazing.
Dude, that fucking double cross body with him and Ray going to the outside, that was great. He's got a great spinning back elbow. That thing is so nasty looking when he does that.
Dude, can we call that double crossbody the human centipede crossbody? Because that's what it reminded me of.
Nope.
No, that's the only way that Rey Mysterio can get into R-rated movies. They put on a trench coat to get past Ticket Taker.
I'm clearly an adult. You can see how tall I am.
Question though.
Yeah.
Do you think it was Carlito who beat up, or storyline wise? Do you think it was Carlito who beat up Dragon Lee? Because I do.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. He was anticipating being called in to be Ray's tag partner.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna turn heel off of this, and we're gonna get a feud with that, and that's gonna be great because heel Carlito is great. He's gonna be spitting apples in everybody's fucking face.
Dude, they're gonna be apples coming out the crotch like crazy.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna have a bushel of apples on his trousers.
That and when the match was going on, even though he did technically help Andrade and Ray, there was an air of I don't really want to.
Yeah. No, commentary was pushing that pretty straightforward. So very clear. Okay, we've got a path forward for what's going on there. I wonder if this means that we're going to see probably Andrade take the lead on feuding with Judgment Day going forward, because he was initially, before like the whole Dragon Lee thing happened, like he was very clearly going to be sided with Dom and like Phantasma. So we'll see. It could be fun.
But it was amazing storytelling though, where when he switched sides, I loved it. I think it reminds me of like when I was a little kid. I used to get babysat by this lady, and she would make me flautas with queso, with just cheese, and I would watch telenovelas with her. And like men would like always act like that, like he did. And it brought me back to being like a little kid and watching some of those with her. Like I didn't understand what people were saying fully back then because I didn't really know Spanish at the time.
Yeah.
But dude, I he's a force to be reckoned with. I think personally, we're gonna see him become more of a main eventer over the next couple of years.
I mean, that's very clear. That's what his intention is. We'll see if he can pull it off though, because he's attempted kind of forcing his own push for years now, and he always seems to get close, and then he kind of falters a little bit and loses his way. I don't know if that's just booking, if that's him personally, if that's him pushing too hard and being too difficult to work with, but like in the ring, the dude is undeniable.
Dude, it could be a mix mash of it all, because like the same thing could be said about Bobby Lashley with how it could be a mix of things going on there, because Bobby Lashley's underutilized too.
100%.
But I have a gripe though. I do have a gripe about this match, other than the white dude luchadors. Why did they have to promote? Why did they have to promote Aqua Fresca during this match? During the Hispanic match?
Well, I think they weren't able to get Captain Crunch back for the last time that Ray beat his son.
That would have been awesome. But it does lead into another match we'll be talking about shortly, which I have the same gripe about, actually.
Let's-
Which is why I believe it's a little subconscious racism. So
Yeah, roll into it, man. Like we're not holding back.
okay, damage control, versus Jade Cargill, Naomi, and the EST. Great match. Loved the match. Everybody in that match was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a little bit too fast for my taste.
At the
But
same
my
time,
main gripe.
you know, I mean, it was a little fast. I felt the same way, but you know, my girlfriend said very clearly, like, yeah, but how do you not bring Bianca and Jade and Naomi out there and have them not look as threatening as possible? Like, if it went too long, it would have been embarrassing for their characters and them as performers.
You got to have them
Yes, especially-
dominate as the team.
Yeah,
Especially with Jade coming in being the muscle. Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. But it just felt a little too quick still. But my biggest gripe though was the ring advertisement while my main three came out was for fucking Wingstop.
it was Wingstop. I kind of blocked out a lot of the advertising that was going on because there was so much of it this year. Every match had a different sponsor.
Yeah, I
But I was just-
subconsciously block it out.
I was like, maybe it's a me thing, but I saw Wingstop and three beautiful black women being introduced into the ring at the same time, and I was like, what is happening?
I don't know. I was making chicken yesterday.
Yeah, dude, fucking Wingstop rules.
I was working.
Yeah.
I was working while I watched this. But yeah, other than that, though, it was an amazing match.
Yeah, little.
I think
sloppy
damage
on,
control-
entrances,
yes.
though, you know.
Yes. But at the end of the day, I don't think either team walked away looking weak.
No, and I want, dude, the three of them, Bianca, Naomi, and Jade, at the presser after the show, their energy together, their dynamic, they've got so much synergy. They look like they are having a blast together. I'm all for it. Like, I want to see them doing
Yeah.
so much together because they've got such a great dynamic between them all. They're so much
I
fun.
want to see the video of the three of them going to Disney World.
That'd be great.
That'd be fun.
I love their outfits that they're like matching up with each other and giving this like heavy cowgirl kind of vibe with Beyonce's recent release and everything. I don't know if it all coincides, but it feels like it does a little bit, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
You're
Like-
passing around the glasses like I can't see through these.
Yeah, what are you doing with these? You can't see shit. Yeah, they're so much fun together. I love it.
Asuka's makeup.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Also, Asuka just
Dude.
fucking singing along and dancing to the entrance.
Yeah.
that popped me. She's just having the
Dude. And it didn't draw me out of it. Like, it didn't break like character or anything in my mind. It was totally on brand for Asuka.
Yeah, she's
And her entrance coming in with the team with her the attire she had on, dude.
she had an awesome mask this year. That mask ruled.
Dude. Everything about this could have been. This was near a 5-star. I think the only thing that really drew away was some of the entrance mishaps, and then the speed at which this match happened. Otherwise, it would have been a 5-star for me.
Yeah. And look, I get some of the criticism out there from people saying, like, okay, well, what the hell was that performance from Jade? I'm like, okay, number one, she's been training. You know, this is her first, like, big kind of, like, show off moment besides the Royal Rumble. You got to leave people wanting more, you know? She's got a huge ceiling ahead of her. She's been through a lot this past year with her mom passing, unfortunately, and all the other shit she's had going on. Like, she's got a very high ceiling, and you can't give away everything on the first show out. You gotta get people to come back and wait for more.
She's a main eventer. Like, it's obvious. They wouldn't be pushing her like this otherwise. She wouldn't be in WrestleMania immediately otherwise. She deserves to be in WrestleMania. I'm not denying any of that because she's one of my favorite women wrestlers out there right now. But yeah, you can't give them everything at your first WrestleMania. You got to give them enough.
Yeah.
You got to, because otherwise she ain't going to WrestleMania 41.
Yeah. I will say, though, MVP of that match was Bianca. She was fucking on another level in that match, and that was so, like, that 3-person moonsault from and going for a pin. I mean, yeah, like
Mhm.
obviously she wasn't gonna get a pin, but the sheer fact that that spot existed, it brought a smile on my face. That was awesome.
It was really nice seeing that she's a force to be reckoned with still. Because there was a couple times there in the past few months where you kind of like debated it a little bit. At least I did, like how they're going to push the character forward. But no, she was strong and ended strong and an amazing showing.
Yeah,
An amazing showing. Naomi looked great too. Honestly, everyone did in that match. It was like an awesome freaking match.
yeah, that was just a good old fashioned fun 3-on-3 match. Really brought the crowd up from what was it? Yeah, Jay and Jimmy. Um, Not the payoff I was
Yeah.
looking for between the two of them, if I'm being completely honest. Look, I get like, oh hey, we've got like the right story here. But I think they should have stepped this up. There should have been something happening here. Really, it doesn't feel final, in my opinion. They need like a steel cage match, a Hell in a Cell, something.
You don't think it's going to come up tomorrow?
Oh, it's definitely gonna come up. You mean today or
Today?
tomorrow?
Oh,
Yesterday for the
Today
audience.
is
Yesterday.
today, not yeah.
Yesterday, audience for you.
Yesterday's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna come up
Yeah.
again. Yeah, for sure. I was just hoping for something a little bit more bombastic from the two of them. But
But
we'll see. You know.
it's a stale rivalry. We were talking about this like I think for the past few weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rivalry's been pretty stale for the most part because they tried saving it for this when they should have executed this at like Elimination Chamber or even the Rumble.
Yeah.
But I think Walsh is onto something. I think the payoff is today or yesterday.
Whatever.
Audience.
Time
Yeah.
is
It happened.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, Derek's been right so far about night one. Derek's been a little right. Derek's had some correct calls.
Yeah. And you know what?
And
Like, let's give them the credit for actually giving Jay the win too, and not killing his momentum.
Mhm. I think there's a reason for this why Jay wins.
Mhm.
I think Jay strips Jimmy from the bloodline. I think that's the payoff.
Yeah.
Before I was thinking that him and Seth might end up being like a tag team or something, but I'm starting to think that these two might be a tag team again, and it's going to be getting Jimmy to see the light and not be a part of bloodline because of how abusive they are.
I mean,
I mean-
don't see why not, really, at this
Yeah,
point.
look at how The Rock treated that referee.
Because
Just trying to do his job, man.
did you guys watch the commercial for them too? Like
Yeah.
I'm not my brother's keeper. I think that's what this is leading to is I am my brother's keeper and I have to keep my brother safe. I need to help him see the light. It's this whole mixed bag kind of and I don't think they're executing it well, but I think that's where we're headed right there is getting Jimmy out of the bloodline.
I think they can find it. I think they can find the right tone, the right speed for this to make up for it in the end. I wanted something a little bit more from night one, their one-on-one match together. I wanted to see more to kind of like pull me in deeper.
Well, imagine if there would have been like a behind the backstage kind of deal between the two where they're talking and Jay's really pushing hard, like, can't you see what I see? Can't you see what happened to me, man? It took me a while to see it, but look at what they did to me.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they're doing to you. Look what they're doing to Solo. And give him like a thorough kind of way to pull him out.
Yeah.
That might happen tonight or yesterday, but I don't know. Otherwise, this is just a wasted storyline.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money though, especially considering they didn't use Solo at all on night one. He was nowhere to be.
It's because they're going to do it theory crafting because we haven't seen it, but I'm fairly certain Solo will show up in the Bloodline rules.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do the same thing he always does. He's gonna come out from the audience wearing a hoodie, pretending it's not him, like he needs to disguise himself, and then Samoa and Spike.
this is not my theory, but have Rikishi come out when the two of them are getting into it and be like, "You two need to knock it the fuck off.
Yeah,
Or I
that's
will
how.
whoop both of your asses."
Yeah,
I would
That
love
or
that,
mom.
actually.
Have her come out, grab them both by the ears, and be like, "You're coming with me."
Well,
Next time
especially
you
with
see
all
them,
this,
they're all, "We get along now."
they
with
put on
the
their
bloodline and everything. Yeah.
That could work. I'd be for it. It'd be something.
Either way, I feel like they haven't executed this properly yet, but there's still time.
Yeah, it's not
Otherwise,
completely dead. Yeah, they haven't completely shit the bed. They just haven't found it yet.
yeah,
It's an open side story.
Yeah.
it's weird that this storyline has to incubate for this long, but it does.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd say like a 3-star in my book, 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
This was a
perfectly
very
average.
solid middle of the road. Yeah.
Yeah, not
match.
bad by any means, just perfectly serviceable. Like it deserves to be in the mid card, you know? You needed something right around there to kind of give people a chance to get their energy back. And that's what this did. You know, so the
Yeah.
crowd wasn't exhausted for what was the penultimate match? Sami Zayn versus Gunther, IC title. Uh I know there was like some people who are like not into, Sammy going for this at WrestleMania. They wanted Chad Gable. They wanted, something else. I think Sammy pulled him in this match. I think he did his job exactly how he needed to do it. Him and Gunther. That was a solid match. That was a good one.
I loved it. I think this is, in my book, this is the 5-star match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
This, if you don't know the history, audience, Gunther held a title way back in the day. I don't remember what he was going by at the time, but was it Walter? Okay. And Sammy at the time was El Generico or something like that.
Generico.
Generico.
Yeah.
El Generico.
Okay, Derek, you're breaking kayfabe here. Okay, El Generico is an entirely separate entity. He is currently in Mexico taking care of his orphanage. Okay.
I'm sorry. My bad.
They are just very close friends. Okay, it's like Clark Kent and Superman. Okay, they just know each other very.
You're right. I'm sorry, audience. I'm sorry, but he stripped him of the title, and when no one else could. And I feel like this was kind of getting to show that again. I just don't think they sold it enough for you to be like, oh, Sammy's the one who actually can do this because he's done it before. Well, yeah. He knows a guy who's done it before.
Yeah.
I know a guy who knows a guy, right?
Yeah.
But the lead up with what's his face doing the training with him and having that promo shot where he's like, I'm afraid. That's the problem, okay? I'm afraid. Dude, I could tell right there and then. I was like, Sammy's taking it.
Yeah.
Sammy's taking the belt.
They did a great job with that. They really did.
Mm-hmm. And him with his wife and kid right before the match. Boom. KO there, being like, go get him, boy. Like, it was just great. Like, this was a 5-star match.
Yeah. Sammy's got the goods when it comes down to everything that you really need as a wrestler in order to, succeed. He's got the quality that makes people want to get behind him, and you can't teach that. You can't force that. That just happens.
Mm-hmm. He's got that Rocky vibe, overcoming. He's the underdog. Goku versus Frieza type shit. Like, it sells for me. I love those kind of storylines, and Sammy pulls it off all the time. He always has that like he's the underdog, but there's that chance he could win. Always. I just wonder how he's going to be as the title holder now.
Yeah. I mean, we might see a shift going forward. There might not be as long as title reigns. We might not see him hold it for like over a year, for instance. But you know what? I'm all for it. Let's let it ride. It finally gives Gunther the freedom to now move to the top of the card, and have him
Hmm.
become like the ultra supervillain that dude is clearly destined to be.
Dude, and I think it's what's meant to happen. Otherwise, Gunther stalls and Gunther becomes irrelevant, and that's not fair to him with all of this work that he's done. Give him a chance to hit the main card. I think the next big rivalry for Sammy is, this is theory crafting because we haven't seen tonight or yesterday for y'all. Uh, is going to be, unfortunately, Logan Paul. Logan Paul's losing the belt, and he's going to go after the Intercontinental.
See, I was expecting it to be Chad Gable. I was expecting.
I think he'll be one of them too.
Yeah, I want because just that little nugget of okay, you owe me now. I think that's where it comes back. Where it's going to be like a very straightforward, almost gentlemanly affair between the two of them, but it could turn real dark real quick.
I think Chad deserves it, a chance to take it. I think it's a good storyline I trained you, so I'm better than you. I know all your moves and everything. I know how to beat you. A good, simple storyline is needed, and I think that fits.
And I want to give a shout out to Knoxville. It's been 2 years, and he still won't let go of his feud with Sammy. He still pops off in his Instagram comments. I love it.
So good. So good.
Oh, that's great.
But I do have to say that match was my 5-star match. The only one that hit 5 stars in my book.
Yeah.
Of the night.
Solid. No complaints. Honestly, they did what they needed to do. And considering that they still had the main event to go, dude, all the credit in the world to Sammy and Gunther. Those guys, they know what they're doing out there. I respect them immensely. Honestly, just let those boys run. Give them all the creative. Strap the rockets to them.
I was gonna say, man, I feel like they both knew how elevated this was, because for as much as Sammy, his kicks were devastating, obviously, Gunther's chops were more devastating than normal, and they're already super devastating.
Dude, they are chest caving chops normally. These were okay, I'm a Viltrumite from Invincible chopping you now. He's gone to
dude, it was, yeah, man, watching Sammy's chest ripple when he doesn't have a lot of fat on him to begin with was insane. It was how are you standing right now? It was just an amazing match. It was an amazing match.
Yeah. Oh god, those guys. Dude, this is kind of the pattern that we've seen since WrestleMania has shifted to multiple nights, where night 1 is a lot of ups, where the crowd's into it more. They still got all the energy, and then night 2 tends to let us down just because you can't keep up that level of production, that level of energy for 2 days straight. I mean, it's smarter than doing fucking 18 hours of WrestleMania on one day for sure, but it's still gonna it's the give and take.
Yeah,
surprises for today.
Yeah.
But they can't tell you what they are.
Yeah. Let's get into the main event, because I want to spend at least a decent chunk of time on this, and we've talked about everything else on the card, but we haven't even touched really on the main event. Holy shit, dude, this was a blast, right?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't blow away greatest of all time, but this was fun. It was just fun.
It was definitely better than Rock's last showing.
Yeah.
He might have been overselling some of the hits from The Rock, but it was fucking great just how he can move and bounce.
I think that was an homage to The Rock, though, because if you remember back in the day when Hulk came back, and The Rock faced the Hulk, The Rock sold his moves hardcore.
I mean, that was his MO back in the day. I mean, nobody sold a stunner like The Rock. I mean, he would oversell just to try and make Stone Cold laugh, Oh,
yeah. But I feel like Seth was doing that for The Rock in return now that The Rock is back in the ring. It kind of felt like a paying it forward kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean,
it was a great match.
You can see a lot of what they're planning going forward, as far as these characters are concerned, post WrestleMania and like in the months ahead. Uh, Very obvious with the choice of having Rock be the finish and putting Cody away with a single people's elbow, really putting over that no, he is still the final boss. Like he is going to be the one at the top of the mountain, the new mountain, according to the Rock that he is building.
Yeah,
Just make
it's
another one. It's fine.
Yeah.
so. I feel like my theory crafting on my predictions on this was kind of pretty right overall. They lost. Cody and Seth lost night one. We all knew that was going to happen, but still, you kind of had to if this was going to play out the way that it needs to play out. They put on an amazing show. I loved that The Rock kept fucking with the ref. I think if he didn't fuck with the ref constantly and making this match more hardcore than it needed to be, it would have been a stale match. I think this added to it hardcore.
I don't know. I think the ref should have stepped up to him and been like, look, I get you're on the board of directors, but the board does not have decision-making power over day-to-day operations. That's why they hire managers. You don't get a say in this. Go sit down.
I think that's great. Do want to shout out the ref though for playing along with it and like apologizing to Cody as Seth is getting beaten.
Yes.
That was great.
Oh
That was
God.
a great bit of business right there. I love that.
Yes, I love the match overall. I think, and most of my gripes with this match is more of the technical side with cameras and live feed and everything. They didn't know how to show this to the audience that wasn't there.
Yeah.
For a little bit. It was this weird back and forth. They kept cutting awkward cuts back and forth. And then when they finally realized, oh, let's do what we do with the replay, but do it with them. It was already like too late by that point. It felt like because it was definitely the replay screen, but they ripped off the replay wording, which was smart to do because that was the best way to kind of show both of these things happening. Because Roman fighting Cody up on the ramp and The Rock facing Seth out in the crowd was really the only way to really show this off, unless you're going to hard cut at specific points, and they didn't really know when to do that, it seemed at first.
Yeah.
But shout out to the audience, though, by the way, while I'm talking about this, because they did not fuck with The Rock and Seth as they were going out there. Like,
No.
Kudos to the audience.
I mean, that's kind of an anomaly with Philly. They are usually a very in-your-face crowd, but they were up for everything tonight. I do think the production team once again dropped the ball with miking the crowd because it was hard to hear the crowd. Apparently, there was chants about dude wipes at one point because that was another one of the advertisers. I didn't hear that at all during the feed.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yeah.
I think production is one of the biggest reasons why I would say this was not a 5-star. Sitting not obviously there watching, but at the same time, you could tell that The Rock was very rusty compared to the others. Nothing against that. You know, it's been like 8 years since he wrestled. And the last time he did was like a 10-second match.
6.
6 seconds. Thank you. But it was a good showing for him coming back into the ring overall. I think despite, dusting off the cobwebs and everything, by the end of it, man, he was in a good rhythm, especially as this character. I think this is a way better version of the Mr. McMahon style character.
And I'll give him some real fucking credit. Like his cardio's in fantastic shape. He didn't look gassed at all last night or 2 nights ago now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody else looked gassed compared to him. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I don't know if they were purposely trying to have Roman look tired, but Roman looks tired. Roman looks like he needs a break. He needs a vacation. I know that breaking kayfabe here, he actually is slated for a vacation, a pretty extended one for a amount of time. after this. So probably just to hang out with family, rest up, recuperate.
Yeah.
But he looked tired. And I think they're trying to sell that idea that The Rock is going to take over, even without the spear that happened.
Yeah.
Which, audience, if you've already seen it, The Rock received a spear from Roman, and the look before he gets the spear off on The Rock's face to as the spear is connecting is gold.
Oh yeah.
Just meme gold.
It was one of those things that, yeah, Tim called it as it was happening, and I chimed in with but where's Seth? And then the two pieces of information came flying together. You think, oh, hope he doesn't spear The Rock.
So good.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, while we were watching, my girlfriend asked at one point in time, "Where's The Rock right now?" As Roman was about to get pinned, and then there's The Rock pulling the referee's legs out. Yeah. Like,
And then he throws him back in later.
Yeah, that's where he was. Exactly.
No
what he
ref right
needed.
now. Okay, now a ref.
Yeah.
But it sold so much, though. It like this whole idea of him being the final boss or like a Mr. McMahon type.
Mm-hmm.
This match, if you weren't sold on it before, you have to be now to some degree. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. It like his feud with Cody's mom, man. The fact that Cody's mom played into all the dude.
Yeah.
So
to the cameras
good.
not cutting away just as she was saying bullshit to him.
Yes. Waiting for her to climb over the barrier and whoop his ass.
Dude, she's a fucking gem. She's a fucking gem.
Dude, old people in wrestling are always great.
But I
Not always.
Okay, Ric Flair.
I'll see if I
not
can-
included.
How do you know what I'm thinking? Get out of my head.
But I think overall, my prediction is kind of right on this. I think they're selling this like night one is Infinity War.
Yep.
The heroes lose.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw an image. The girlfriend showed me an image from Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Because I've been making this prediction for like weeks and weeks now, for a couple months now. But someone else did it. They did a side-by-side of Cody sitting in the ring, like kneeling, sad and forlorn, next to Steve Rogers after they lose in Infinity War, and he's just like, oh God.
Not
Like
only
those
that,
two moments.
Derek, not only that, but that image of Cody is right behind us right now. And it's an exact mirror of WrestleMania 39 and that shot with Roman behind him on the ramp and Cody looking disappointed in the center of the ring. Like, it's the exact same image almost.
I mean, but it sells. It makes sense. There's this night, well, night two for us, you guys have already seen it, would not sell as hard if Cody and Seth won night one. There's no way. It just would not be as over the top.
Yeah, no, like.
But I think this is where we see.
Yeah, the main event of night two is going to be some of the most overbooked, convoluted, carny bullshit we're gonna see this year, and I'm here for it. It's gonna be, it's gonna be like watching probably a train crashing into a 737 Boeing Max, and it's gonna be.
What are the rules gonna be?
There are no rules.
There are no rules.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So one rule.
Yeah, one rule. There is no rule.
Well,
no, actually, rule is you don't talk about like.
Boom.
Yeah.
Rule 3. Profit.
I honestly, I think because of it being a like no rules bloodline rules, which is no rules, you're gonna see Jay come out and help Cody win. You're gonna see Seth come out and help Cody win after, and this is my prediction, is that Seth is losing the belt to Drew. Because I love Seth's character, and I feel like if they're taking an Iron Man kind of approach, like how I see him being portrayed in this storyline, he needs to be humbled, like Iron Man was humbled.
Yeah,
they're gonna bring in how much they were banging on the knee, and that's why he's gonna lose. To Drew.
Exactly.
The whole story of that match is gonna be Drew exploiting that weakness.
Yep. And it might be a fast match, honestly. I think it'll be a quick one because I think it'll I think that regardless of how that match ends, Seth will still be out there to help Cody.
It depends how evil you want to make Drew McIntyre look. If you want him to be an evil bad guy, you have him draw out the match and keep banging on the knee when he clearly could have won 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Actually,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
That brings up a good little bit of head canon theory here of like Drew's character, because they've been telling the story of his downfall never being his fault, so to speak, when it comes to him not, being a current champion and all this kind of stuff and how he's always screwed it up. That could be very well like his downfall in this match is he could end up dragging it out too long. Seth, being the wily veteran, somehow sneaks a win, and this causes Drew to spiral even further. Possibly, possibly going outside the ring and attacking Punk, who's on commentary for the match.
I like this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, this would be Iron Man 2 type shit. I know I keep bringing all this back to Marvel, but I really feel like WWE's taking a big page out of their playbook right now.
It's a good analogy, too.
Because if you go to Iron Man 2, Tony's humbled but still wins.
Yeah.
Seth could be humbled by night 1 and still win. It both still work. And I like where you're at with this, because I do believe if Drew were to draw this out or get involved with CM Punk at the announcer booth and all that, Seth will pull it out.
Yeah.
He'll get the opportunity to sneak one up on him and take the victory. I could see it. I could see it.
Have Drew dragging it out, have CM Punk start talking shit from the table. Drew comes out to confront him, and Seth comes out of nowhere for the win.
Yeah.
Does like an elbow drop on him from behind, throws him in the ring, and does a quick 3 count.
Yeah, like does like a schoolboy pin or something like that. Puts his feet up on the ropes, something. Yeah. But to your idea as far as like the main event and Seth coming out to help, I want to say this is me just manifesting this. Seth is going to come out from the crowd like the Shield days, and he's going to be carrying a steel chair.
Have him have the vest on too?
Exactly.
Dude, I would love that, because Seth is the one that beat Roman before. Yep. I think it was DQ technically, but beat him. So, dude, I love that. I love that idea. That's so good. And it brings everything to a head to show how weak Roman is now compared to how he used to be. How him not being like the face every single day in, day out, doing matches, protecting the belt, has really taken a drain on him. Dude, I'm loving this. I'm loving this, because I feel like when this all comes to a head, like with how Endgame ends, where everybody gets dusted, the bad guys. Instead, I would like this is just a fracturing of that alliance. So seeing Roman get toppled by The Rock, see Jimmy get pulled out, see maybe even Solo walk away from the bloodline and actually start taking some fucking victories for once.
Yeah. Honestly, I see this being the last 2 people being Roman and Paul Heyman, and Paul dumping Roman for CM Punk.
I was going to say, because he's been with Punk before, it would make sense to go back to him. And I think that Paul would do it in a very over-the-top, exaggerated thing, basically with how it went down with Brock Lesnar, too.
Yeah.
I can totally see that.
How much longer is CM Punk out for?
Probably another 4 to 6 weeks, depending on upwards of like another few months, depending on how his recovery goes in the therapy sessions.
Yeah. When he was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, I'm going to say the whole thing every time because I have been trained to do that by WWE.
Nice.
Yeah. When he was on there, he said it's
what was he on?
The MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, you son of a bitch. For that 2.5 hours that he was on that show, they did talk extensively about his injury and how it is very almost identical, like not quite identical to the previous arm when he tore his tricep. He knew something was wrong right away. It's not the same extent of damage, and he is under much better care. that was one of the things that he used to both prop WWE up and bury AEW for. He's been saying the best doctors, he said his recovery is like night and day comparatively. It's going along a lot faster. If it was up to him, he would have been in the ring already. But he is following his doctor's orders and he is playing it safe.
Forever the pipe bomb thrower.
Mm-hmm.
Forever the thrower, man.
Dude, he can't help himself when it comes to shit.
He can't. He can't. But I personally believe don't expect him to be in the ring as soon as you might think. If these doctors are as good as he's claiming, they're not just going to let him go back in the ring real quick. They don't want a lawsuit, so
they're going to hold until you're healed, dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, he did take a bump when he was announcing his injury, and they sold it with Drew McIntyre when he was announcing, like, okay, yeah, this is what's happening with me, guys. So that's not to say he can't take a bump. He might be doing something.
True.
Yeah.
With you saying that Drew attacking him when this was brought up, it makes sense.
Yep.
Honestly, if things go the way they're going, you could see Punk going up to Paul and being like, after everything's said and done, be like, hey, I need you by my side so I can work my way back up.
Yeah.
And that's how those two come back together. Dude, it's all coming together. It's all coming together.
Yeah, let's smash those puzzle pieces in with the hammer.
Yeah.
Roman bleeding.
Mm-hmm. From
this was very much a Iron Man versus Thanos moment where it was all that for a drop of blood.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so.
That reeked of a happy accident to me. I think that was a combination of the weather, just like causing him to be a little bit brittle right there, and he took a wrong, hit.
It was the look. It was the look, right? For you,
so fucking well. Like he realized what was happening and was like, "Okay, I got to make this work," and he did such a fantastic job with it. Like his facial emotions was so good.
Do you notice that moment though of actual surprise though, where he was like, "Oh, yeah, dude," that's how I knew that was real. I was like, "Okay, all right, it's happening," because then he sold it immediately.
He's so
sold it immediately.
Yeah. Also,
acknowledge me.
Shout out to him at the fucking press conference, man. He was so much fun at that press conference. Like legitimately, he was like telling one of the first people to ask him a question, like, "No, you get out of here. Either you leave or I leave. Use your feet." They're like, "Oh my god!" Then tell him the whole crowd to acknowledge him. Paul Heyman jumping to his feet immediately to put the one up. It was so good. They're so much fun.
So there's actually a gripe that I have from Michael Cole during the match that led to a question at the presser. Michael Cole brought up his leukemia.
Yeah.
Like twice. Which then led to questions being asked.
Yeah.
I don't think it needed to be brought up.
I mean, Roman brought it up earlier in the week himself.
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I know. But I don't think Michael Cole needed to bring it up during WrestleMania. Because I think there's already seeds of doubt in him retaining. You don't need to put some real world scary shit with it now.
I know, but they're working it into the storyline, and they have to do that for people who aren't like us, who are terminally online losers, okay?
Yeah, true. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. Because I didn't really watch a lot of the presser, but I caught his portion for a bit, and it was like the second fucking question.
Yeah. But honestly, it's one of those things that, like, unfortunately, it was the first time that he really got the crowd on his side when he was, no longer a part of the Shield. Was when he announced he was in remission, and the crowd quickly turned back on him after that. Unfortunately, it's something that the poor guy has to fucking deal with, and he is a goddamn hero for going through it the way that he has gone through it. But shit, man. Talking about making chicken salad out of chicken shit. I'm sorry, Punk got it reversed when he was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani.
God, he gets so many of these fucking idioms wrong, dude.
He just got it reversed, and that's what I love about it.
He does it all the time, but that one's really noticeable. That one was so noticeable. Oh wait, that was on the The what show?
The MMA hour with Ariel Helwani, you son of a bitch.
Thank you, Alex. I couldn't. It escaped my mind.
Escaped your mind.
Walsh was clearly watching it. He's watching it right now. The breadcrumbs on the MMA hour with
Ariel Helwani.
Oh, Alex, what's the name? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look, on that note, let's wrap it up here because we've got another night of WrestleMania to get to, and we've got some stuff to get out of the way before we even get to that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone who tuned in for watching. We'll see you next week with night 2 of WrestleMania, and God knows what else with fucking AEW and Tony Khan going fucking buck wild, releasing footage on live TV. Jesus, it's not gonna be a slow.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah,
it hasn't. The past month has not been slow at all. Everything keeps picking up speed, everywhere.
Yeah,
we didn't even talk about the fucking Ring of Honor belt wins recently either. So
shout out to Mark.
There's just so much.
Shit.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on WrestleMania. Let us know about what you thought about Night 2 in the comments below, because we'll be catching up in real time with you folks. Thank you for joining us.
I'll be up on the threads. I'll be probably making some comments and stuff while watching it, so I'll be cooking too at the same time. But tonight is chicken noodle soup, so it's nice and easy.
Nice. Links in the description below. Hit us up on the socials. Follow us on whatever podcast media you got. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all the engagement. Hit all the buttons. Do all that shit. But we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us on your night off. Say good night, boys.
Have a good night.
Hey, everybody.
Happy WrestleMania. Peace.